Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, continuing to take a look at the next week's slate, heading back down to the Big 12 as the Texas Tech Red Raiders head on the road to play the Kansas Jayhawks. And the narrative around this Kansas team continues to be, this is not a legit team, not a legit contender in the Big 12. I don't know how much more evidence you need from this Kansas team and what Coach Leipold has done to start putting a little bit more respect on this program. This is a team that took care of Oklahoma at home, heads on the road and beats a very quality Iowa State team. This offense is legit and makes it an extremely dangerous team in the Big 12. And you look at Texas Tech, and if you kind of want to write Texas Tech off 4 and 5 year, not reaching expectations, you'd be wrong. Like, yes, obviously Texas Tech fans wished for a little bit more out of this season, but the injuries that Coach McGuire has had to go through for this team, it's been instrumental in the struggles. And now this Texas Tech team getting back healthy, getting a quarterback back healthy in Morton, this is a really dangerous team. You know Coach McGuire is going to have this team fired up to head on the road and have a chance to beat a top 25 team in the Kansas Jayhawks. Really excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. The amount of support you all have shown for these game breakdowns, it truly does mean a lot to have the opportunity to talk college football. It's been awesome. If you all do enjoy the content, you want to support the boys, consider subscribing to the channel. And more importantly, and again, best part about doing this, hearing from you guys in the comment section, picks, predictions, keys to the game. And without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to start with this Kansas offense that I've said it before. When I'm having a bad day, I just turn on a little Kansas offense and watch Coach Kotelnicki absolutely go to work. This is a masterclass offense that can attack you in so many different ways. I mean, on the year, 33.3 points per game, 22nd in the country, 6.7 yards per play. That's top 10 in the country. And what I love most about this Kansas team is they have an identity. Like, you know, when Kansas is coming in, like, they are going to want to run the football, and they're very good at it, right? 59% of their offensive snaps are running. They have two phenomenal running backs in Devin Neal and Highshaw, who are just difference makers with the football in their hands. And you also have a dynamic guy in Jason Bean as well. And Coach Kotelnicki does a phenomenal job getting his running backs in space, letting them go make plays, make tacklers miss. And Devin Neal, I'll say this right now, Devin Neal, Taj Brooks, the two running backs you're going to see primarily in this game. I don't know how many better running backs in the Big 12 there are. And Texas Tech, you're going to have to tackle a guy like Devin Neal in space. But what I love most about this Kansas offense is that they have the identity that's running the football, and they're really good at it, right? 5.1 yards per carry. That's top 15 in the country. When they want to throw the football, extremely explosive. And you see so many teams struggle with that. If you have a good run game, can you marry the passing game in and hit some explosive plays? I mean, these safeties are so focused on walking in, trying to stop the run, that Coach Kotelnicki's just scheming stuff over the top. I mean, this is a team that averages 9.4 yards per pass play. That's 8th in the country. One of the most explosive passing attacks that you see. And they have some difference makers on the outside. Arnold, Skinner, Grimm. You look at this Kansas team, and I again, struggle to run the football against Iowa State, only 2.1 yards per carry. Jason Bean comes in and wins that football game, throwing for 287 yards. Not many ways to stop this Kansas team. And even when their identity, that rushing attack, wasn't quite there against a very good Iowa State defense, they were still able to go on the road and win that football game. Now, looking at this Texas Tech defense, I think this Texas Tech defense is better than kind of the box scores portray, right? 28.5 points per game, 83rd in the country. Not an elite stat, but you look at the down-to-down basis, only 5.3 yards per play. That's 50th in the country. Really good stop in the run against TCU, only 87 yards. Hutchins, Bradford on the inside, really, really good football players. What I'm thinking is the two biggest keys to this matchup. One, tackling those running backs in space, and then two, not giving Kansas the deep ball. And Texas Tech's been good at that this year, right? They're allowing a 63% completion percentage. That's 104th in the country. You're not bragging about that to your friends. What you are proud of is only 6.9 yards per pass attempt. That is top 50 in the country. So they're giving you some stuff underneath, but not giving up the big play. And at the college football level, that's a really important stat, not giving up the explosive play. So those two things, tackling in space, not giving Kansas the explosive play through the passing attack, going to be the biggest two keys for the Red Raiders to stop this Kansas offense that not many people have been very successful stopping. Now, you look at Texas Tech's offense, it's hard to evaluate this group as a whole. It's been tough, right? But when you see Morton healthy, and this is a good Texas Tech offense, put 35 points up against TCU. Taj Brooks, again, has been delightful, especially the last couple of weeks when they've been struggling with the quarterback play. You turn around, just give it to Taj Brooks, and it's working most of the time. He's forced 37 missed tackles the last 3 weeks on the season, a $192 carries for 1,033 yards. This is a guy that really, really good contact balance, really good at making people miss in space, and kind of has some jets to kind of turn it up when he gets to space. Now, the passing attack, from the box score perspective, it's not been great. But again, when they have a healthy quarterback, they have some playmakers, right? Dre McCray, arguably the fastest player in college football. I'd like to see Loic Fungi get more involved. Miles Price, they have a lot of difference makers on the outside that you have to account for. And again, when this Texas Tech offense is healthy, I think it's one of the better units in the Big 12. Looking at this Kansas defense, the Kansas defense, definitely not the strong suit of this team. What you're seeing Coach Leipold do is consistently improve this group. Like, you turn on the film, you notice by far this is a Kansas team that is bigger, faster, stronger, more talented than it was last year. Now, they're still giving up 28.6 points per game. That's 84th, 5.9 yards per play. That's 98th, but it's better. And when you look at Iowa State, 7 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks. They only gave up 2.6 yards per carry. You see the playmaking ability for this Kansas team. They've been forcing turnovers, which has been a little bit of a bugaboo for Texas Tech. Yes, this Kansas defense is not an elite group, but it's a much improving group. And on the other side, they have an elite offense to work with. Getting to the pick here, I got 2 kind of interesting numbers to look at. One, that over-under seems low. Like, with Morton healthy, I think this is a really good Texas Tech offense. And I love, you guys know my thoughts on this Kansas offense. The over-under sitting at only 61 points. When I picture this game in my head, I got both teams scoring 30-plus points. I think the strong suits for both these units are on the offensive side of the ball. I think 2 defenses that are solid but aren't great. I like the over in this play a lot. And I also, to take a side, it's really hard for me to fade this Kansas team. 3.5 points at home. They've been phenomenal winning football games at home. Their 2 losses have been on the road to really good teams, the Texas Longhorns and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They've been taking care of business at home. I'm going to take Kansas to cover the 3.5 points, but what I really do like is that over 61.5. This is going to be a fun game. I think you're going to see a lot of fireworks. You know Coach McGuire is going to have this group fired up to come into Kansas. I'm really excited. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have shown the boys, and we'll talk to y'all later.